Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world and in US homes, and it's the most widely learned language all over the country. Every year, millions of students graduate high school or college with literal years of lessons under their belts. But how many people have you met that have become really fluent in Spanish from school? 2? 1? 0? Is it just that Spanish is such a hard language to learn? Or that learning a second language is impossible? No, neither of those are true. But let me ask you some questions. Did you take Spanish in high school like me? Did you try your best to learn, since it sounds really great to be able to speak another language? Did you leave school with the dread and sadness that you couldn't even do the most basic things in the language? Me too. For me, I even had done a decent job when learning German and thought that I was all that. But when I decided that I should brush up on my Spanish, I realized that I couldn't do anything. I knew like 10 words. The tutor I worked with literally had to talk to me like I was a baby, and I was still lost. But I wanted to be able to use Spanish. And maybe you have these thoughts too. You'd love to go on vacation and feel comfortable chatting and making connections. You'd be thrilled to explore more of Spanish-speaking culture in an authentic way. You want to improve yourself or maybe even your resume by adding a directly useful skill. And if you live in the US, chances are high that you interact with Spanish speakers basically every day. But how do you do it? It feels impossible just by looking at things on YouTube. There are videos of polyglots speaking fluent Spanish after like weeks of study, but you've been trying for months or years. All the videos about conjugations slip out of your mind as soon as you finish the video. And that one time you tried to watch a TV show in Spanish, it sounded like a brand new language. First, it's gonna be okay. Schools failed you, you didn't fail anything. No matter how bad your grades in Spanish class were, you can learn and become very fluent whatever your dreams are. Whoa, hang on there, buddy. Who the heck are you to tell me how to learn Spanish? Well, like most people who've gone through the US school system, I didn't speak any Spanish a few years ago. Like I said, even a paid teacher talking to me like a baby made zero sense. For years, I was fumbling around making myself false promises. My best plan to learn Spanish was hope that I tripped and hit my head and woke up speaking fluent Spanish, which isn't a very good plan, let me tell you. But then something changed at the end of 2021, and I got bitten by the Spanish bug, so to speak. And skipping over the boring details, this is a conversation I had a few weeks ago with my friend Alberto.
Bueno, una pregunta interesante es que estaba en la prepa aprendiendo alemán.
If you want to watch the rest of the video, I'll link it in the description. Not only have I achieved a level of Spanish that allows me to live in Mexico without needing any other language, I also have been thinking about language learning literally every day and working to grow a company dedicated to helping anyone become fluent in a foreign language. That's my goal, and that's our goal at Refold. And if that's your goal too, if you want to become fluent, then we'll make a fantastic team. Let's look at how to get you fluent in Spanish. First, why do so many people fail to achieve their dreams? And really, it's pretty simple. The main premise of classroom learning is flawed. Classrooms and textbooks are focused on translation. The assumption is that if you can learn to translate your complex English thoughts into Spanish, then you can speak. And eventually that translation process becomes faster and faster and faster into what you would call fluency. But that just doesn't happen. If every interaction with the language needs to pass through a middleman, through a filter, it's going to slow things down. Instead, to become truly fluent and comfortable, we need to build an instinct for the language. We need to know what to say. When I say salt and, or black and, you can easily finish those phrases. You spent so much time with English, words just come to you. When you want to say something, you don't think about how to say it, you just say it. We need to build that same instinct in Spanish. Luckily, building instinct is way more fun and quite a bit easier than memorizing verb conjugations and drilling the subjunctive mood. It still won't be easy, mind you, but as soon as you get hooked on the process, you'll forget your studying. But Ben, what do I do to build instinct in Spanish? The sort of backwards thing is that it's not by trying things out and speaking a lot. It's the opposite. You need to listen to, read, and understand a lot of Spanish. If you ask any writer how to get better at writing, they'll tell you to read more. The same goes for languages. You get a lot of fuel for your brain to train up its ability to understand, and then you can convert that into speaking and comfortable ability because you know what sounds right. If this all sounds like a lot, it kind of is. But definitely check out our site, refold.la, for more info. On the front page, we even have a totally free email course which you can take, and it will guide you through the first 5 days of the process, explain things, and set you up for success. But let's go back to that how question. How are you supposed to understand Spanish if you don't know Spanish? And there are a few answers depending on your personal interests and learning style. All links will be in the description, by the way. Approach 1 is to study some basic stuff to grab onto. If you learn the basic words and then go find them in real Spanish content, you'll be understanding. Not that much, but you will be understanding, and that's what matters. I actually made a video which you can watch all about that here. Another option is to find the most basic content possible and watch that. This is an approach called comprehensible input and tries to mimic, in essence, how a baby learns their mother tongue. They listen and absorb things through context and curiosity and guessing. If this sounds at all interesting, I highly recommend you check out Dreaming Spanish right here on YouTube. They have tons of great stuff. And the last approach is what I call the plunge. You just jump into things that are really, really hard and desperately try to tread water. You look things up, you use tools to make it easier, and you take your time deciphering the language as it is. If you get easily frustrated, this approach probably isn't for you, but many people love it. But the core of all of these approaches is similar. Get yourself understanding some Spanish today. Whatever amount, a few words or sentences is totally fine. Time will sort out the rest. We build instinct through rich contact and experience with the language. Now, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm glossing over basically all the details. Instead, I'm giving you 2 tasks to do at the end here. Go to our site and get the free 5-day email course. It's got tons of great stuff in it, and you can't beat free. It'll answer a lot of questions that I'm sure are bouncing around in your head right now. And second, share your thoughts or experience. I will read all your comments or emails. What was your background with Spanish? Why are you starting your journey to fluency? What's the #1 thing you want to do when you're a Spanish speaker? I look forward to reading what you have to say. The Refold team and I are here to support you in your language learning journey. So don't forget to subscribe for more language learning tips, tricks, and advice. I'll see you in the next one. Happy immersing.